Coming up on CTV News, the battle to keep the Commanders in Prince George's continues. Plus,
are you planning to travel this holiday season? Well, guess what? You are not alone. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have more details on this busy travel period coming up on CTV News.
And Jaden Daniels has a record-breaking game. All that and more coming up next on CTV News.
Good evening. This is CTV News for December 23rd. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, the candidates are now set in the race to fill the vacant Prince George's County executive seat. CTV's Bryce Parker is in the studio to introduce us to all of the candidates.
That's right, Michaela. So Friday was the last day for candidates hoping to become the next county executive to file with the Board of Elections. And we have a crowded field of 14 county residents vying for your vote. Here's who made the cut. Starting off, we have 8 Democrats who threw their hats in the race. We have former County Executive Rashern Baker, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy, Marcellus Cruz, and if he sounds familiar, it's because he recently ran for Ben Cardin's vacant U.S. Senate seat. County Council at-large member Calvin Hawkins, Ron Hunt, County Council Chair Jolene Ivey, Albert Slocum, Tanya Sweat, and Senator Alonzo Washington. Now we move to the 3 Republicans who have entered the race as well, starting with George McDermott, who previously ran for Maryland's House of Representatives District 4 seat. Jesse Peed, who ran for U.S. Senate back in 2022, he's back on the campaign trail as well. And our last candidate, Jonathan White, rounds out our 14 challengers. And you, the voters, will get the chance to decide who represents us as our next county executive, starting with the Democratic and Republican primary being held on March 4th. And update those calendars because the general election has been moved from May 27th to June 3rd, ensuring that the Board of Elections will have time to update the voter registration rolls and encourage maximum voter participation. Stay with CTV News as we bring you the latest in the 2025 special election. Back to you, Michaela, at the desk.
All right, Bryce, thanks so much for that report. Meanwhile, the latest shot in the battle for who will lure the Washington Commanders was fired over the weekend when the U.S. Senate passed a bill giving the district control of the old RFK Stadium site. Byron Scott has our story.
With the Commanders celebrating a big win yesterday, so too is the District of Columbia as the U.S. Senate passes a bill giving D.C. control of the RFK site.
And it's a run. McNichols crashes ahead. He's got it.
Commanders fans are relishing yesterday's 36-33 win over the Philadelphia Eagles.
As you can see, I yelled a lot.
You lost your voice.
Yeah, I lost my voice.
Nathan Martin is a die-hard Commanders fan from Richmond. I asked him about D.C. regaining control of the old RFK site and the prospect of the team moving out of Maryland.
I think it'd be great. Let's bring the Washington team back to Washington.
He was not alone.
Maryland is okay, but I think it should go back to Washington, D.C.
I think that they should absolutely open that field back up.
Well, I was very disappointed with that.
Congressman Glenn Ivey opposes the site transfer.
My perspective is that creates an unlevel playing field, gives D.C. an advantage that Maryland doesn't have because we're not getting any free lunches in Maryland. We're having to pay for what we do, and D.C. should have to do the same.
Senators Ben Cardin and Chris Van Hollen, who support keeping the team here, also supported the bill, saying the team has assured them it would redevelop the Northwest Stadium site in Landover in a manner that meets the needs of the community should the team move.
2nd and 20.
The Commanders have played at Northwest Stadium since 1997, but the grand plan to bring massive development to the area never materialized. And while the Commanders will play there through 2027, beyond that is uncertain. Virginia wants to lure the team. Maryland would like to keep them. But
it appears that all indications are that the team desires to go to RFK Stadium.
Some fear it may be a fait accompli.
What I do know is that the Commanders will not just pick up and go, and that they owe a duty to Maryland to invest in Prince George's County, to string the state along for this period of time, and then pretend that they can just leave and go without making sure that they are making strong investments in the people and economic opportunity of Prince George's County. That would be a huge mistake for them. And so I'm hopeful that productive conversations can happen no matter how it lands to ensure that wherever they go, they understand the importance of investing in the people of Prince George's County and the region.
Stay tuned. Byron Scott, CTV News.
All right, great information to learn there. Thanks so much, Brian, for that report. Well, State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy announces 3 separate first-degree murder convictions, highlighting her office's commitment to victims and their families. Now, one case involved 58-year-old Boise Neal, convicted of killing Sean Hall in 2023. Another saw Franklin McCall found guilty of stabbing Terrence Savoy after an argument. And the third, Recco Bouknight, was convicted of shooting a man in a convenience store parking lot last year.
This day and every day, the Office of the State's Attorney is working hard to secure justice. Around the holiday season, it is tough. It is tough to be without people who you love, who should be here, who deserve to have their life. But all we can do, because we cannot bring them back, all we can do is fight for them and do our best to secure justice. I am so proud of the work that we do here. We have an over 90% conviction rate in our homicide unit. We work very closely with all of our victims.
And Braveboy praised her team for their hard work, saying justice brings closure, especially during the holiday season. Well, with the 2025 Maryland General Assembly legislative session looming, the state's $3 billion budget deficit is set to be the star of the show. Budget spending has increased by more than $20 billion in the past decade, whereas state revenue has not kept up. Inflation and rising government program costs like Medicaid have put increased stress on the budget, as well as costly state-funded programs like Blueprint for Maryland's Future. Maryland's labor force has also taken a hit since the pandemic, leading to a decline in the state's gross domestic product. And over the weekend, Governor Wes Moore announced that all state offices will be closed on Christmas Eve, making the day a state holiday. State employees will get the day off just like any other holiday. In a press release, Governor Moore said, quote, "We're grateful for all the hard work our state employees have done this year to make Maryland safer and more competitive. We hope they enjoy a well-deserved break with their loved ones this holiday season." And this will make Tuesday the 14th holiday for state employees. Well, the U.S. government narrowly avoided a shutdown by passing a last-minute spending bill signed into law by President Joe Biden on Saturday. The Senate approved the deal 85-11 just before a midnight deadline, while the House passed it earlier by 336-34. Without the bill, millions of federal workers would have faced unpaid leave or worked without pay. A shutdown would have disrupted public services like parks, food assistance, and federally funded preschools, and limited aid to farmers and disaster victims. The deal also includes $100 billion for disaster relief, $10 billion in aid to farmers, and full funding to rebuild Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge. President Joe Biden announces that he will be commuting the sentences of more than a dozen inmates on federal death row. 37 out of 40 people will have their sentencing converted to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The 3 other inmates that remain on federal death row involve murder cases that deal with terrorism and hate-motivated mass murder. Biden says, quote, "I am more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level." Meanwhile, a scathing Senate report is exposing ethical failures at the highest court in the land. After a 20-month investigation, the Senate Judiciary Committee releases a report detailing lavish gifts accepted by several justices, undisclosed trips, and conflicts of interest, all violations of federal law. Chair Dick Durbin says the findings reveal a Supreme Court, quote, "melted in an ethical crisis." Among the recommendations are an enforceable code of conduct and greater transparency. Chief Justice Roberts has faced years of pressure to implement ethics reforms, but the report says no meaningful changes have been made. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, we're just 2 days away from Christmas. After the break, find out when's the best time to hit the roads. We'll be right back after the break.
Just waking up in the morning and to be well. Quite honest with you, I ain't really sleep well. You ever feel like your train of thought's been derailed? That's when you press on, lean in. Have the gon' do, y'all? There goes a fighter. There goes a fighter. That's what they'll say of me, say of me. This one's a fighter.
World Youth Clubs provides professional and technical assistance to all our affiliate clubs all around the world. We already have 44 countries that are behind us providing safe spaces for kids, but there are 160 other countries we'd like to reach out to. Yeah. Right, Brad? Exactly. But we need the resources now to do that. Absolutely, and we're a new organization. Yeah, the World Youth Clubs, it's made up of a lot of hands-on, deeply involved volunteers, but hey, we need you to help fund the World Youth Clubs and make their dream come true.
In a circle, get in a circle, get in a circle, get in a circle.
Welcome back. In the U.S. Senate, a bill passed which will no longer reduce the Social Security benefits of millions of Americans. The bill strikes down two provisions, the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, which reduced millions of Americans' pension benefits by up to 66%. Now, the bill received bipartisan support in both the House and the Senate, is now awaiting President Joe Biden's signature. Meanwhile, as families finalize their holiday plans, millions of people will be packing up their cars and hitting the roads to celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah. And that means getting to your holiday destination will take a lot longer than normal. CTV's Katira Jones is standing by on the Beltway with more.
That's right. The holiday travel season is in full force, and with Christmas and the start of Hanukkah just 2 days away, drivers can expect to see a lot more people on our roadways. In fact, AAA anticipates that 119 million people will travel 50 miles or less to get to their holiday destination by air or vehicle. This is more than a 2.5% increase from last year. If you plan to hit the roads, the Auto Club says 90% of travelers in the Washington metro region will drive to their holiday destination. Transportation experts also anticipate it will take drivers 30% longer to get through our nation's highways. If you want to avoid congestion on our roads, the best time to travel is actually on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or even on December 26th before 11 a.m. The best time to travel to celebrate New Year is Monday, December 30th before 2 p.m. Katira Jones, CTV News.
All right, Katira, thanks so much. Meanwhile, a Prince George's firefighter is recovering from minor injuries sustained while fighting a fire over the weekend. Investigators say the blaze broke out on the 4200 block of Crane Highway at about 9 o'clock on Saturday night. They say the sole occupant of the house was able to make it out safely. And officials say it appears the fire started in a home office. The cause has not yet been determined. And population growth in the state can be largely attributed to immigration. Statewide, more than 50,000 people immigrated to the state, outpacing population growth of any other category, which lines up with the largest year-to-year national population growth since 2001. Now, although more than 18,000 people left Maryland than entered, immigration paired with more than 11,000 new births and deaths, offsetting the number of fleeing Marylanders. No U.S. state saw a decline in immigration. And Governor Wes Moore receives a Bronze Star months after it came out that he never actually received one. The governor was presented with the Bronze Star for his military service in Afghanistan last Friday. The star was given to Moore by his former commander, Lieutenant General Michael Fenzel. Now, it came to light that Moore, who was applying for a White House fellowship back in 2006, put down that he received a Bronze Star, but he didn't. Moore was deployed to Afghanistan for almost a year with the 82nd Airborne Division. And a Beltsville man will spend decades in prison for exploiting children online. 40-year-old Brian Worth was sentenced to 37 years in federal prison, for coercing minors into creating sexually explicit videos. A jury found Worth used messaging apps like WhatsApp and Kik to communicate with girls as young as 11 between January and June of 2021. Now, this wasn't Worth's first offense, as he was already a registered sex offender in Maryland. In addition to prison, Worth will serve 25 years of supervised release with a ban on unsupervised contact with minors and computer monitoring. And so to come on CTV News, 3 car manufacturers are in talks of merging. Find out which ones and what it could mean for the auto industry when we return.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
At school, it feels like everyone's staring at me, and I'm just kind of not really a person.
Sometimes I can't believe that you could be proud of me if I'm not proud of myself.
It just feels hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Think of our best times together. Let's do more of that.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
We have some popular product recalls to tell you about. Stanley has recalled 2.6 million of its popular mugs sold in the United States after several customers have been burned. Stanley received reports that the lids on their switchback and trigger action stainless travel mugs can detach during use when exposed to heat. Now, the mugs were sold at Walmart, Dick's Sporting Goods, Target, and other stores nationwide and online. And the giant potato chip maker Frito-Lay is recalling a limited number if its 13-ounce Lay's classic potato chips after the FDA was alerted they might contain undeclared milk, posing life-threatening risk to people with milk allergies. And if you're an owner of a Rava car seat made by Numa Baby Essentials Incorporated, be aware that the child seat have been recalled. Numa is recalling more than 600,000 of its child seats with a plastic harness adjuster button. Now, debris may enter the front harness adjuster and cause a mechanism to fail, resulting in a loose harness. Owners may contact Numa customer service for a free repair kit. And party people, listen up. The largest party supply retailer in America is closing after nearly 40 years. Party City CEO Barry Litwin told corporate employees in a meeting on Friday that the retailer would be winding down the business immediately. Party City then sent out notifications to store managers that all locations will be shut down by February 1st. Litwin, who joined the company this past August, was able to get the company out of bankruptcy. However, the company still has more than $800 million in debt to overcome. And organizational goods retailer The Container Store has filed for bankruptcy protection as the store struggles with mounting losses and cash flow shortages. The Texas-based company has faced increasing competition from retailers like Target, Walmart, and Amazon. At the same time, that demand for goods is under strain due to high prices and a rough housing market. Under Chapter 11 bankruptcy, the Container Store will continue to operate while it restructures. And there are currently 3 locations in Maryland, including Annapolis, Gaithersburg, and Rockville. And over the weekend, Japanese automakers Honda and Nissan announced plans to work towards a merger. Nissan Alliance member Mitsubishi Motors also agreed to join the talks on integrating the business as the industry transitions away from fossil fuels. Honda will be leading the new management, retaining the principles and brands of each company. But if successful, the company would become the world's 3rd largest automaker by sales, competing with Toyota and Germany's Volkswagen. They aim to have a formal agreement by June. And Simon Buggs is here with our Monday Sports page. You have some great news for us.
Absolutely, some great news, Michaela, from the world of high school hoops and the gridiron. Don't go anywhere, sports fans, as I'm going to recap for you on a local basketball tournament and the Commanders' huge comeback win against a division opponent. Stay tuned.
To pose, now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down. Oh.
Pick up! Joe, pick up the phone. Open up, man.
Connection saves lives. Reach out and check in on a loved one today.
Hey there, sports fans. Hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. It's time for your Monday Sports Page. We begin with some exciting high school hoops highlights. It was an exciting time this past Friday night as the Showplace Arena hosted the In the Water Basketball Showcase. This event pits the best teams in the DMV region against each other to see who's really the best of the best. And two teams that took the court that night were the Bowie and Laurel High School boys basketball squads. The Spartans got off to a fast start in the first quarter as this triple hit by combo guard Amadou Kaloga after the opening tip. This shot that was swatted away by number 3 Jermaine Taylor, and Taylor making another good play as he made this tray ball also helped Laurel jump out to a 9-3 lead. And as the quarter went on, more made shots from the Spartans like this pull-up jumper from Trayshawn Micaiah and blocks as well like this nice rejection from Christian Brown on Tremaine Rolls helped Laurel have a 23-10 lead at the end of the quarter. In the second quarter, though, Bowie began to make things interesting. Made baskets from the Bulldogs like this mid-range jumper by Kana Green off of a dribble handoff. This running hook shot made by Rolls, combined with Laurel going a little bit cold in the quarter, helped Bowie go on a 14-6 run in the quarter, and they were now down 29-24 going into halftime. Moving on to the third quarter, Laurel's lead got smaller and smaller, and this bucket from Nicholas Mayo while in transition put the Bulldogs ahead as they took the lead 38-37 going into the final quarter. And in the final quarter, the game remained a close one. These two free throws made by Bowie's Kamali Burns put his team ahead 49-47 with just 17 seconds left to go in the ball game. And after a timeout from Laurel after 12 seconds, the Spartans had 5 seconds left to tie or win the game. After their timeout, Laurel hit the floor for one last shot. Brown found Kalug open for a three-pointer, but he was off. And Bowie kept their lead and won the matchup 49-47. Man, that was a good game. Meantime, the Washington Commanders were in action yesterday afternoon, taking on an NFC East rival in the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Washington got off to a slow start as they were down 21-7 after the first quarter. But over the next 3 quarters, the Commanders outscored Philly 29-12 with Jaden Daniels throwing his touchdown pass to Jamison Crowder and Jeremy McNichols running it in for this 2-point conversion to seal the deal. And Washington moved to 10-5 on the year after beating Philly 36-33.
We never flinch, and no matter what the score looks like, we had, 4 or 5 turnovers, and that's not our standard at all. We'll get that cleaned up. But to win this game when there was a lot of ebbs and flows speaks to the resilience and the culture that we're building here. And so, like I've said in the past, if you want to look at a culture being built or what it stands for. It's easy when things are going good, but when there's a little adversity, that's when you get to see the true character of a group of people.
Man, it was a tough fought game. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We didn't play as well as we wanted to, but at the end of the day, man, we was able to pull the win out, and we're getting ready to go on to the next one.
You're never out of a fight, We always like to say, we bring the fight, when you got a group of men that really believe in each other and what's being preached every day, you're never out of it. So, you just keep battling.
The resilience of this team, us keep battling and doing all that, and defense did a heck of a job. We put them in bad positions, and they were able to really help us offensively. Just make those big mistakes and the small mistakes.
I feel good, man. Everybody just putting in the work all week in the preparation, man. We talked a lot about what they see the first time we played them and what they see us now. And we overcame that, and just shout out to everybody that played a part, and all the guys, man, just fighting into the clock says 0-0-0.
And more great news, Commanders fans. After yesterday's game, Jaden Daniels is the first rookie and second player in NFL history with at least 250 passing yards, 75 rushing yards, and 5 touchdown passes in a game. The first was Cam Newton back in 2015. And also with yesterday's win, we eliminated the Dallas Cowboys from playoff contention. Man, today is a good day. And wrapping up sports, the Terps women's basketball team whooped Syracuse over the weekend, beating them 87-60. Their next matchup will be Maryland Eastern Shore on the 28th. The Washington Wizards will return to action tonight. The team will attempt to bounce back from their loss against the Milwaukee Bucks as they will take on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of my favorite players, and the rest of the OKC Thunder at 8 o'clock. And that wraps up your Monday sports page.
I know you were so excited about their win.
Very excited.
What do you think played a role in the Commanders' comeback?
Well, 2 things, Michaela. One, the defense. I give credit to the defense for really locking in that second half and only allowing an offense like the Eagles to only score 12 points. The offense is so explosive, and only limiting them to 12 points in the second half. They definitely played a huge part in the win. And also Jaden Daniels, man, he's been great all season. He was good. He was good in yesterday's game. He made throws when it counted. He made plays with his legs when it counted as well. Great win for the team. And now it's time to see if we can take down the Falcons as well. So we'll see what happens, and I'm excited. It's like we're going to make the playoffs. So it's definitely, I'm feeling good for sure.
Right. Thanks so much, Simon.
No problem.
All right, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy with light winds. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 43, but expect a wintry mix for Christmas Eve. Rain, snow, and freezing rain is expected between until 4 p.m. Wednesday, Christmas Day, it'll be partly sunny with a high of 42 and a low of 29. Thursday will also be partly sunny with a high of 42 and a low of 27. And for our community calendar, from the comfort of your own car, bring the family to experience dazzling scenes that celebrate the magic of the holiday season at Watkins Park Annual Festival of Lights. This daily event is going on now until January 1st. Daily ticket sales end at 4 p.m. However, Christmas night is free. But for more information, contact 301-218-6700. All right, that's all the time we have for CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.